Hello, progressive kids. Welcome to Progressive Mantra. High demand question bank show short chapter number 4. हम फटाफट स्टार्ट करते हैं एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लेसन 4 मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड 2. आइए अब क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 पे आ जाओ. Who invented the steam engine in 1969? James Watt. Who invented the flying shuttle in 1733? John Kay. Who invented spinning jenny? James Hargreaves. Which industry became the key industry of industrial revolution? Textile. Which two natural resources were vital? Vital matlab important for England industrial revolution. Coal and iron. Who invented the seed planting drill? Jethro Tull. Which acts combine community land into larger farms? Enclosure Acts. Which policy believed in more exports and less imports? Mercantilism. Mercantilism का मतलब क्या होता है? जहाँ पर आप ट्रेड और कॉमर्स में इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, दैट मीन्स ट्रेडर्स यहाँ इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. Who is called the father of factory system? Arkwright. Who invented the spinning mule? Samuel Crompton. Who invented the water-powered loom? Edmund Cartwright. Who built the first steam locomotive in 1814? George Stephenson. Who invented the first electric motor? Michael Faraday. Who produced pig iron using coke in 1709? Abraham Darby. Who developed wrought iron in 1784? Henry Cort. Which new class of factory owners emerged? Capitalists. Capitalists कौन होते हैं? वो होते हैं capitalists जो अपना पैसा लगाते हैं. That means they have much of capital, large amount of money to put for trade. Which island was handed over to Britain after Opium War? Hong Kong. Which rebellion opposed Christian missionaries in China? Boxer Rebellion. Which Japanese era began industrialization in 1868? Meiji Restoration. Which policy in South Africa discriminated against blacks? Apartheid. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं ये और कहीं ना कहीं हिट होंगे, सो फटाफट इनको ग्रास्प कर लेना. नेक्स्ट, अब ये इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, शॉर्ट आंसर्स हैं लेकिन लॉन्ग आंसर में भी इनको आप कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो बिकॉज सारे हिंट्स आपको इसके अंदर दिए हुए हैं विद आंसर्स हैं. व्हाट वाज द इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन? अ शिफ्ट फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर टू इंडस्ट्री इन ब्रिटेन 1750 to 1850 marked the machines and factories. That means इस era में machines और factories आ गई थी. Which two natural resources were vital for England industrial revolution? Coal and iron used for steam power and industrial growth. Why merchants established factories to meet rising demand? They installed machines, employed workers and produced goods on large scale. अब इसमें the is और sentences को आप आराम से खुद कर सकते हो. तो इनको ये पॉइंट्स हैं जो याद कर लेना, इसमें और कोई एडिशंस करने की जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज ये 2 मार्कर्स हैं. इनको 3 मार्कर्स में भी आप कर सकते हो थोड़ा बहुत और ऐड करके. Name one agriculture innovation during this period. Jethro Tull's seed drill, which planted seeds uniformly and reduced wastage. Who invented the flying shuttle and what was the impact? John Kay in 1733 sped up weaving and quadrupled output. Quadrupled का मतलब 4 गुना कर दी output. So बहुत बहुत important invention थी ये flying shuttle. What was the spinning jenny? Invented by James Hargreaves, it spun multiple threads at once, boosting textile production. यानी जो टेक्सटाइल की प्रोडक्शन थी वो फास्ट हो गई क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा जल्दी जो है स्पिनिंग स्पिनिंग मतलब वो जो मशीन होती है जिससे टेक्सटाइल यानी कपड़ा जो है बहुत फास्ट फास्ट बुनता है, तो वो स्पिनिंग जेनी से बहुत फास्ट हो गया था बिकॉज नाउ इट वाज मैकेनाइज्ड यानी मशीन आ गई थी. Who is called the father of factory system? Richard Arkwright for creating first factory with fixed hours and machinery. यानी जो फैक्ट्री सिस्टम था उसके अंदर आवर्स और मशीनरी जो एकदम सेट किया था वो कौन थे? रिचर्ड आर्कराइट. फर्स्ट फैक्ट्री विद फिक्स्ड आवर्स एंड मशीनरी यानी कि एक लिमिटेड टाइम के लिए मशीनरी चल सकती है. What was James Watt's contribution to steam engine? In 1769, he improved efficiency fourfold by adding a condenser chamber. Condenser वो होता है जो ठंडा कर देता है इंजन को और उसको बहुत ज्यादा हीट होने नहीं देता. So, fourfold का मतलब क्या हुआ इसमें? 4 गुना. What was Henry Court's contribution to iron industry? ये रहा क्वेश्चन. He developed wrought iron in 1784, a stronger and less brittle metal. Brittle मतलब जो जल्दी नहीं टूटता. Who built the first steam locomotive? George Stephenson in 1814. His rocket ran in 1829. How did industrial revolution affect workers? Long hours, low wages, poor housing and child labor led to trade union movements. इसकी वजह से क्या हुआ? जब इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन आई तो वर्कर्स पे ये इफेक्ट हुआ कि ट्रेड यूनियंस बन गए बिकॉज ऑफ लॉन्ग आवर वर्क, उनको वेजेस कम दी जाती थी, हाउसिंग बहुत पुअर थी, बहुत पैथेटिक कंडीशन में वो रह रहे थे और चाइल्ड लेबर बहुत ज्यादा हो गई थी बिकॉज डिमांड बढ़ने की वजह से. What was new social class emerged during this period? Capitalists who owned factories and machinery, organized banking and controlled wealth. They had large sum of money which they could put in the trade. How did industrial revolution encourage imperialism? Industry needed raw material, cheap labor and new markets leading to colonial expansion. यानी जो कॉलोनीज थी जो धीरे धीरे करके एक्सपैंड कर रहे थे अपने आप को, they were leading to colonial expansion. Defined imperialism, control over another country's political and economic life, often through conquest. Why did industrial nations target Asia and Africa? These regions were resource rich but politically weak and industrially backward. What role did nationalism play in imperialism? Countries like Italy and Germany conquered lands for pride, siege, and racial security. Why was Africa called dark continent? Important question है बहुत ज़्यादा. Europeans had little knowledge until explorers revealed its resources like gold, ivory and slaves. इसी वजह से इसको डार्क कॉन्टिनेंट कहा जाता था बिकॉज इससे पहले कुछ किसी को नहीं मालूम था कि कितना रिच रिसोर्सेज में है अपने आप में अफ्रीका. What was the outcome of first opium war? China was defeated, five ports opened to Britain and Hong Kong was ceded. What was the Meiji Restoration in Japan? Beginning in 1868, it transformed Japan into an industrial nation with modern education and military. So it was a milestone for Japan. Which South Asian country remained independent despite imperialism? Thailand, Siam, even though surrounded by French and British colonies, remained independent. Industrial Revolution and its impact on society. Introduction. The Industrial Revolution was major turning point in history, beginning in Britain in the 18th century. It transformed society from an agriculture economy to modern industrial one, bringing profound social, economic and technological changes. Key points क्या थे इसके? Its origin was in Britain 1750 to 1850 due to coal, iron, waterways and political stability. Inventions were James Watt steam engine, John Case flying shuttle, Hargreaves spinning jenny, Crompton's spinning mule. ये सारे important है बहुत ज़्यादा very very important है. Factory system replaced domestic production, workers migrated to cities. Agriculture innovations, Jethro Tull Seed Drill Enclosures Act increased productivity but displaced farmers. Transport and communication improved, railways, steam, ships, telegraph, telephone. सोशल इम्पैक्ट क्या हुआ था इसका? अर्बनाइजेशन. देखो यहाँ पर अर्बनाइजेशन, poor working condition, rise of trade unions and emergence of capitalist. Conclusion. The Industrial Revolution laid foundation of modern industry, reshaped society and triggered global competition, ultimately leading to imperialism and world पूरा full fledged answer है of the key points of industrial revolution. and अगर आपको question आ जाता है 5 marker on industrial revolution. Explain the innovations and technological changes during the Industrial Revolution. Introduction. Technological innovations were backbone of the Industrial Revolution, making production faster, cheaper and more efficient. Key points. Textile industry में flying shuttle, spinning jenny, spinning mule and power looms came. Steam engine came, Newcomen's engine in 1705, Watt's improved design in 1764 and revolutionized industries and transport. Coal and iron. Abraham Darby's coke smelted pig iron, Henry Court's wrought iron, Wilkinson's drilling machine. These were all active at that time. Transportation में George Stephenson locomotive in 1814, Stockton Darlington Railways 1825 and steamships, bridges, canals. Communication में telegraph, telephone, electricity, Faraday's motor. ये सब इसी time आया था. Conclusion. These innovations not only boosted industrial growth but also connected markets globally, paving यानी making way for imperial expansion जो कि हुआ. And आज भी ये हम फील कर सकते हैं। जो उस टाइम पे हुआ था उसके इफेक्ट्स पॉजिटिवली आज भी हम फील कर सकते हैं। डिस्कस द राइज ऑफ इंपीरियलिज्म एंड colonialism in Asia and Africa। इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, तकरीबन तकरीबन रिपीट होता है। Imperialism refers to extending control over another country's political and economic life, while colonialism involves acquiring territories and exploiting them. Both grew rapidly after industrialization. अब इसके key points देख लो। Need for raw materials, markets, and capital investment drove imperialism. Asia and Africa were targeted due to rich resources but weak political military systems. Transport and communication, railways, steamships, telegraph facilitated control. Nationalism and racial superiority, white men's burden justified conquest. Missionaries and explorers encouraged expansion. Conclusion. Imperialism reshaped Asia and Africa, draining their wealth and resources while fostering resistance movements that later led to independence struggle. Describe imperialism in Africa. Introduction. Africa, once called the Dark Continent because nothing was known out there. जब discoveries हुई, it became major target of European imperial power in late 19th century. But after rich sources were discovered, ivory, gold, diamonds, timber and slaves, डार्क कॉन्टिनेंट से वो इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्टिनेंट हो गया बिकॉज वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा स्कोप दिखने लगा, वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा ग्रोथ दिखने लगी। इसलिए weak political systems and armies made conquests easier. By 1910, almost all of Africa was divided among European nations क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा उसके अंदर स्कोप था, बहुत ज़्यादा वहां पर रिसोर्सेस थे, तो डिवाइड हो गया, ऑब्वियसली कॉन्कर हो गया आफ्टर डिस्कवरी ऑफ सो मेनी मिनरल्स and so many resources. France ruled North and West Africa, Britain controlled Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Germany, Portugal, and Italy had also colonies. Slave trade, 15 million Africans were sold between 1500 to 1800 because they were weak. ऑलरेडी पुअर कंट्री थी, डार्क कॉन्टिनेंट में रहते थे। डिस्कवरी के बाद उनके ऊपर एक तरीके से हमला बोल दिया बाकी कंट्रीज ने, एंड स्लेव ट्रेड वाज वेरी वेरी कॉमन। Only Liberia and Ethiopia remained independent. Ethiopia later invaded by Italy in 1935. So, imperialism in Africa brought exploitation, slavery, and racial discrimination, leaving long lasting scars on its society and economy, which are felt today also. Explain imperialism in Asia with reference to China and Japan, another important one. Asia faced aggressive imperialism from European powers, but responses varied across countries like China and Japan. Key points: China Opium War हुआ, which led to defeat and concessions to Britain. Hong Kong ceded ports, opened tariff restrictions. Boxer Rebellion बहुत important थी 1900 में against missionaries and foreign influence. जापान में मेजी restoration हुआ 1868 में and transformed Japan into an industrial power. State-led industrialization, Bank of Japan in 1877, modern education was there. Expansion into Korea, Manchuria, Indochina, Burma, Malaya, Philippines. Conclusion: while China succumbed to foreign domination, Japan modernized rapidly and emerged as a strong imperial power, and it is today also. So वहां से starting हो गई थी. Access the impact of imperialism on colonies. Introduction. Imperialism had both positive and negative impacts on colonies of Asia and Africa. क्या थे वो positive impacts? देखो, railways, canals and telegraph, modern education, science, rise of nationalism and political conscience. Negative were exploitation of natural resources and destruction of indigenous industries. Slave trade and racial discrimination, apartheid in South Africa. Economic drain, colonies became markets for European goods. Loss of self-respect and confidence among colonized people. Imperialism introduced modern infrastructure, its exploitative nature outweighed benefits, leaving colonies impoverished and socially fragmented. Now, ये एक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट और शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन बैंक है। इसको अगर आपने कर लिया तो कम से कम 2-3 क्वेश्चन इसमें से हिट होंगे जो कि हाई वेटेड होंगे। सो जस्ट डू देम, और ये जो पॉइंट्स हैं इनके अंदर आप एंड द जो भी है इनको सेंटेंसेस बना सकते हो, लेकिन लर्न ऐसे ही करना क्योंकि वो फास्ट लर्निंग हो जाएगी फिर आप। Fine. Now we'll meet in the next class with another short question bank. Till then, best of luck.